When you open your eyes, you find yourself on the top of a hospital with a person standing in front of you. The person seems to be busy enjoying the scenery. You don't remember why nor how did you get here, but something feels off. You feel that your heart is beating faster and faster with each second that passes. Your palms begin to sweat and your breath becomes heavy. Trying to find something to grasp, you find a cell phone in your pocket. Upon pressing the power button, you see an image of the person in front of you. Under it, you see a note. He's the one. Kill him. What will you do? You'll trust the note? Listen to the signals sent by your body and push him off? Or will you try your best to suppress your instinct and try to find out more? That is the day-to-day reality of Leonard Shelby, the main character of Memento. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah, film vlog. Memento is a psychological thriller movie published in the year 2000 and is directed by Christopher Nolan. The story centers on Leonard Shelby, a man suffering from anterograde amnesia, a condition that prevents him from forming new memories. He can only remember things around 15 minutes at a time, sometimes even shorter, especially during stressful situations. The last thing he remembers when he wakes up is the murder of his wife, fresh in his mind as if it was yesterday. His life revolves around solving the murder case, an event he believes also caused his condition. Due to how he is, he uses a unique system of Polaroid photos, handwritten notes, and tattoos to keep track of the people he meets and the clues he uncovers. But the more he digs deeper, the more complicated and uncertain he is with the reality that he's in. As an audience, the story of Memento itself is really enjoyable to piece together. But the thing that really makes the movie fascinating and as impactful as it is due to how Nolan structures it. In this movie, the story is not told to us. It's not presented to us in a linear way. They use an interesting yet slightly convoluted method that Nolan himself already explained. And there's a video of him explaining it, 17 minutes video on the internet, but here is my attempt at recreating or re-explaining what he was saying in that video. I would like to apologize regarding the lowered quality of the audio and video of this next part. We did not have a proper tool to do what we want to do. So here's how things get interesting. This is let's call it the narrative line of the story, of the movie. The story goes like this. And this movie is split into two sections. We have the black and white section and the colored section. The black and white section is on the bottom here, and it's, as you can see, it's moving forward. This is the end of the movie. Let's just say end here. There's the black and white section. This is the colored section, mostly color blue. And the movie starts like this. The movie starts here with a scene here, and then it moves here. With each scene, they keep alternating between one another. So it starts with the colored section that moves backwards. Go to a black and white section. Go back to the color section, black and white section, and so on until the movie reaches the end. So the end of the movie isn't actually the end of the story, because the end of the story is actually at the beginning of the movie. So it is really interesting to follow this because it really fits how the main character feel and experience the world itself. So yeah. The editing and cinematography of this movie are really integral to his storytelling, particularly in how they prepare the audience for the reverse order narrative. You can see this from the first scene where the entire scene plays in backwards. You can see that the Polaroid photo is being shaken, and the more it is shaken, instead of appearing, the pictures fades away, and also the ensuing things after that of Leonard shooting Teddy in the head. All of that plays in backwards, which prepares the audience for an experience that might not be the same as other movies, that something will be messed around in terms of time. So, in the editing side, that works really well, in my opinion. And another admirable aspect of this movie is the cinematography and set design. The one scene that really stuck to me is the scene where Leonard is about to burn his late wife's belongings. During this scene, right before he sat down and start a fire, he's standing in an open area with several unfinished building columns protruding out of the ground. They are unfinished, and they are arranged on the screen in such a way that the setting looks similar to that of a graveyard. One of the columns, even the one closest to the camera, the shape of it resembles a casket. The lighting that hits Leonard from behind, leaving part of his body that is facing the camera, as well as the column near the camera, shrouded by darkness. Overgrown plants and greenery can be seen in the background and foreground, further enhancing the illusion of a graveyard, and sadly, one that might have been abandoned. With all of this combined, the movie managed to convey Leonard's grief as he burns his late partner's belonging in an attempt to move on and forget about her, which, of course, didn't work because he remembers the death of his wife as if it was yesterday every time he wakes up.
In the movie, the sequencing isn't like an ordinary movie. It goes chunk for chunk backwards, so the last scene in the movie is actually the very first sequence of the plot, should we talk in a linear fashion. The movie follows an effect-cause pattern rather than the usual cause-effect pattern, meaning the audience is informed of the cause of a scene after the effect of said cause is shown on the screen. One of the better examples for this is when Natalie comes to Leonard, battered and bruised. She states that her boyfriend, Dodd, had beaten her. It draws Leonard's sympathy and promised her that she is safe. Then, in the next scene, it shows that it is actually Leonard who had hit her for insulting his wife. Additionally, it can also serve as a brilliant point of comedy. In the scene where Leonard is being chased, his disease acts up in the middle of it.
Okay, so what am I doing? Oh, I'm chasing this guy. No, he's chasing me.
He thought that he is the one doing the chasing, when in reality, he is the one being chased. The movie brilliantly sequenced the move so that the first time the audience see the scene, it is already in the middle of the chase. When Leonard makes a comment along the lines of, "Oh, I'm chasing him," the audience have no reason to doubt it. Then, the sudden confirmation that that wasn't the case, the undermining of the audience expectation, makes the comedy work really well in our opinion. This scene perfectly captures the feeling of having an unreliable narrator narrate the whole movie. While the narration makes the movie stand out, it also unfortunately comes with a few drawbacks. Firstly, it is a little hard to understand the motivations of the side characters, especially with Natalie. Movie-wise, the first time the audience see Natalie is when she and the main character talks as if they had known each other for quite some time. She states that she is aware of his predicament with his memory and helps him. As the movie goes, the relationship regresses, and near the end, the audience are shown Natalie and Leonard acting as strangers, with Natalie looking surprised when seeing Leonard at first. The movie depicts her as a manipulator, someone that exploits Leonard's memory condition. It is especially apparent with the scene where she is hit by Leonard for insulting his wife. She lives momentarily and comes back after he lost his memory again and said that it is her boyfriend that's responsible for it. The plot doesn't really give the audience a reason to take side with Natalie when she first appeared, that she is not given the proper attention. While the story's narration is indeed akin to "oh that's why" technique, it can be challenging for those who remember a character by their motivation before doing acts that is based upon said motivation. The first time we see Natalie, we don't quite see who she really is. We really see her as a nobody that serves as someone to deliver the exposition to us, the audience. Secondly, since the sequencing is rather unique comparatively to other movies at the time, it is easy for the audience to lose the linear order of the movie. Like previously stated, this movie follows an effect cause pattern, showing the effects of a cause, not the other way around. The audience basically have to backtrack as the movie goes to make sense of the movie chronologically, from the start of the story to the end of the story. While optional, it is highly recommended to watch the movie at least twice to fully grasp the whole plot of the movie. The initial watch would serve as a general reminder of the entire story, and it is in the second watch that the audience can better piece the plot into one chronological sequence from the start to finish. That being said, this is necessarily a bad movie, though the plot would require some considerable effort in order to follow along. It is not an impossible task. This movie offers a unique experience with its out of the ordinary sequencing and the unreliable narrator aspect. In conclusion, this movie, though can be quite confusing, is still a good watch. The unique plotting of the movie gives a similar but different feeling when watching a flashback of a movie. But during that flashback is a series or scene, a flashback of the previous scene. And that we think is a very good thing, for we suspected that this is one of the main draws of the movie. We really think Christopher Nolan has done an amazing job with the movie, even if this is one of his early works.